Have you ever had that moment when a laugh turns into a leak, or you rush to the bathroom but don't quite make it? You're not alone, ladies. Bladder leaks affect nearly every woman over 60, yet we rarely talk about it. It's embarrassing, frustrating, and feels like a betrayal by our bodies. But what if the habits you think are helping, like skipping water or ignoring the urge, are making things worse? In this video, we're diving into the 8 daily mistakes sabotaging your bladder health and what you can do to take back control. Stick with me until the end, because I'm sharing not just the surprising habits to avoid, but also the game-changing solutions that worked for me after years of trial and error. You'll learn why holding it in can train your bladder to misbehave, how your morning coffee might be causing more leaks, and why pads are only a temporary fix. Plus, I'll reveal simple, practical steps, like pelvic floor exercises and hydration tricks, that can reduce urgency, prevent accidents, and boost your confidence. This isn't just about managing leaks. It's about protecting your urinary health and living stronger in your golden years. Don't miss the real-life stories of women who found relief by speaking up, and the doctor-approved tips that could change everything. Subscribe to the Savvy Senior channel, like this video, and let's tackle this together, because your body deserves better. If you are not subscribed, subscribe and activate the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support means a lot to me, and if you enjoyed this video, you can help me continue spreading the valuable lessons by liking and sharing it. If you like the topic of this video, please comment 1. If you don't, please comment 0 to let me know how I can improve and make better videos for you. Now, let's begin. 1. Ignoring the urge. I used to believe I was showing strength by holding it in. I'd be right in the middle of an important task, and I'd feel that familiar urge to go. But instead of taking a break, I'd push it down, thinking, I can wait. Just finish this one thing first, and then I'll go. It seemed like I was in control, like I was proving something to myself, like I was tougher than my own body. But oh, how wrong I was. The truth is, I was doing more harm than good. Doctors have since explained that constantly ignoring that urge to urinate doesn't make you stronger. It trains your bladder to malfunction. Rather than releasing when it's supposed to, it becomes confused and overstretched, and eventually, it stops giving clear signals altogether. What starts as a small inconvenience can quickly spiral into more frequent leaks and sudden, embarrassing accidents. It's like the body is desperately trying to communicate, but I wasn't listening. What hit me the hardest was learning that holding in urine for too long weakens the bladder walls over time, stretching them out. And when those muscles weaken, they lose the ability to fully empty the bladder, leaving behind urine that's still lingering. Not only does that raise the risk of infections, but it's also a sign that my overall urinary health is deteriorating. It's not just about the leaks anymore, it's about how those small choices can impact my health in ways I hadn't even considered. Now, I've made a change. I listen to my body with more respect and kindness. When that urge hits, I honor it. I respond with patience, without rushing or feeling embarrassed. I no longer let those little signals go ignored. It's a small shift, but it's empowering. Taking care of my body by respecting its needs has become a quiet act of self-respect, one that I'm no longer willing to ignore. 2. Drinking less water to avoid leaks. I used to believe, like so many others, that drinking less water would solve my bladder problems. Every day, I would consciously avoid drinking too much, thinking it would keep me from frequent bathroom trips and, most importantly, from embarrassing leaks. It made perfect sense to me at the time. Less water, less need to pee, right? But oh, how wrong I was. The truth is, this misguided belief only made my situation worse. What I didn't realize then is that when we don't drink enough water, our urine becomes concentrated and acidic. This concentrated urine irritates the delicate lining of our bladder, making it far more sensitive, twitchy, and unpredictable. So, instead of fewer bathroom trips, I found myself racing to the bathroom even more urgently, often with less warning and no control over when I might need to go. It felt like my body had turned on me, and I was constantly scrambling to manage a situation I thought I was controlling. I learned the hard way that dehydration is a huge issue for many older women, and often we don't even know it. We avoid water, thinking it will spare us from accidents, but it only backfires. The key, I've found, is steady hydration. It's not about chugging a gallon at once, but rather sipping small amounts throughout the day. Hydrating regularly helps keep the bladder calm, balanced, and less prone to spasms. I now make sure to drink enough during the morning and afternoon, and I've learned to taper off in the evening. That way, I stay hydrated, but I'm not getting up 5 times a night. It's a delicate balance, but it works, and I can finally feel at ease knowing that I'm doing right by my body. 3. Overdoing the caffeine. Now, this one hit close to home for me. I've always been a huge coffee lover. There's just something about that warm, comforting cup in the morning that sets the tone for the day. It's become such a comforting ritual, and I know I'm not alone. So many of us rely on that cup of coffee to wake us up and fuel our day. But here's the thing I didn't realize. Too much caffeine can be a sneaky culprit when it comes to bladder issues. I didn't know that caffeine acts like a double-edged sword for your bladder. First, it stimulates the bladder muscle itself, making it more sensitive and reactive, causing it to contract more suddenly. I know it sounds a little dramatic, but it's true. Your bladder is just more easily triggered. Then, on top of that, caffeine is a diuretic, which means it boosts the amount of urine your kidneys produce. So, more urine combined with a bladder that's already on edge? Well, that leads to more frequent trips to the bathroom, more urgency, and yes, more leaks. It's a frustrating cycle, and honestly, it was one I didn't see coming. But here's the thing. I'm not suggesting that you need to completely give up your beloved coffee. I certainly didn't. I get it. But what worked for me was cutting back to just 1 small cup in the morning and switching to herbal tea or decaf later in the day. It wasn't about depriving myself of the things I love. It was about making a small, simple change that gave me back some control. That small adjustment made a big difference in how often I had to run to the bathroom, and it was a game changer. It's not about giving everything up. It's about being gentle with your body and finding a balance that works for you. Sometimes, the little changes are the ones that make all the difference. 4th, skipping pelvic floor exercises. For many years, I believed that pelvic floor exercises, like Kegels, were something only young women needed to worry about. Something to do after giving birth to regain control. But let me tell you, I couldn't have been more wrong. As we age, especially after menopause, those pelvic floor muscles we take for granted start to weaken, and the truth is, they're far more important than we realize. These muscles are the unsung heroes holding up the entire bottom half of our bodies. They support the bladder, the uterus, and even the bowels. They are essential for controlling so many things we never think twice about. Yet, as we grow older, they lose their strength, and the consequences are more than just inconvenient. They can be downright embarrassing. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. If you're anything like me, you know the struggle. You laugh a little too hard, sneeze, or even get up too quickly, and suddenly, there's a leak. I didn't fully appreciate how crucial these muscles were until I began experiencing it myself. And here's the thing, if we don't do something to actively strengthen these muscles, gravity wins. It takes its toll, and before we know it, we're facing problems that could have been prevented. But here's the good news. Just like any other muscle in our body, our pelvic floor muscles can be trained, no matter how old we are. It doesn't take much, either. I started incorporating pelvic floor exercises, Kegels, into my routine. Nothing too dramatic, just gentle tightening and releasing, done consistently. I would do them while brushing my teeth or during commercial breaks while watching the news. It was easy, simple, and most importantly, it worked. Within weeks, I noticed a real difference. The urgency lessened, The surprises became fewer, and my confidence grew. It was such a small adjustment, but it made a world of difference in how I felt every day. I couldn't believe how easy it was to overlook something so simple yet so effective. I only wish someone had shared this with me earlier. The battle against leaks doesn't always happen in the bathroom. Sometimes, it's those quiet, often overlooked moments, those small, intentional muscle squeezes, that make all the difference. It's empowering to know that with a little consistency, we can take back control, one muscle at a time. And that, my friends, is a victory worth celebrating. 5. Relying on pads instead of addressing the problem. I'm going to be honest. There was a time when I thought pads were the ultimate solution. When I first started experiencing leaks, I simply slipped a pad into my underwear, and I thought, that's it, problem solved. I didn't want to talk about it. I didn't want to think about it. And I certainly didn't want to bring it up with my doctor. I just assumed it was a normal part of aging, a burden we all have to bear. But, oh, how I wish someone had told me sooner how wrong I was. Pads are just a temporary fix. They're a backup, nothing more. Using them without addressing the root cause of the problem is like ignoring a hole in your roof and simply putting a bucket underneath to catch the water. Sure, it'll help in the short term, but it doesn't stop the damage. Eventually, the problem only gets worse. And that's exactly what happened to me. When I kept relying solely on pads, I was ignoring the warning signs. I didn't realize that the issue wasn't just about leakage. It was a signal that something deeper could be going wrong. It could be something as simple as weak pelvic muscles, or it could be as serious as nerve damage, hormonal shifts, or even a bladder infection. These are things you don't want to ignore. I've learned the hard way that the longer you let it go unchecked, the harder it is to deal with later on. Now, I don't shy away from addressing the problem. I don't rely solely on pads to mask it. I stay hydrated, I do my pelvic exercises, and most importantly, I speak up during my doctor's appointments. There's no shame in using pads when you need them. I still keep a few in my purse just in case, but now I'm focused on prevention and finding real solutions. Addressing the issue head-on is the key to managing it and even improving it. Taking action today means I have a chance for a better tomorrow. And that, my friend, is the true solution. 6. Smoking. Smoking, it's something I've never personally indulged in, but I've witnessed its devastating effects on those around me. Far beyond just the lungs. What many women don't realize is that smoking is a silent, relentless force that can wreak havoc on more than just your respiratory system. It's one of the most significant, yet often overlooked, risk factors for urinary incontinence. Think about it. Every time a smoker coughs, that harsh, rattling doesn't just affect the airways, it puts pressure on the bladder. Over time, the constant strain of that cough wears down the pelvic floor muscles, the very foundation that supports the bladder, making leaks almost inevitable. I've had friends who had to wear pads, not because they were simply getting older, but because the years of coughing had slowly, but surely, taken their toll. But it's not just the coughing that causes damage. Smoking inflicts deep, invisible harm on your body. It harms your blood vessels, restricts oxygen from flowing freely to vital areas like the pelvic tissues, and reduces their ability to stretch and heal. These tissues become fragile, like something that's been stretched too far and can't bounce back. Worse yet, smoking messes with estrogen levels, a hormone that plays a crucial role in bladder function, especially for women in the postmenopausal years. As our bodies go through these inevitable changes, smoking only accelerates the process, worsening the problem. Now, I know firsthand that quitting isn't easy. I've seen women in their 60s and 70s face the daunting challenge of breaking free from the grip of smoking. But let me tell you something, it's never too late to turn things around. I've witnessed incredible transformations, where women have kicked the habit and regained control of their health. And yes, their bladder function too. The best part? Their confidence skyrocketed. It might seem like an uphill battle, but every positive change, no matter how late in life it comes, has a profound impact. Don't let anyone convince you that it's too late for you. It's never too late to take charge of your health, to make that life-changing decision, and to see the benefits ripple out in ways you never thought possible. 7. Drinking before bed. I used to have a cozy routine in the evening, winding down with a warm cup of herbal tea, chamomile or peppermint with a touch of honey. It was my little ritual, a peaceful moment before slipping into bed, a way to relax and ease into sleep. The gentle warmth of the tea comforted me, and I'd drift off with a sense of calm. But gradually, something started to change. I began waking up in the middle of the night, 2, sometimes 3 times, feeling the urgent need to rush to the bathroom, my feet cold against the floor as I stumbled in the dark. At first, I brushed it off, thinking it was just a fluke. But it became a pattern, and soon, I noticed damp sheets and the frustration of disrupted sleep. That's when the light bulb went off. Drinking before bed was slowly working against me, especially as I got older. The truth is, as we age, our bodies don't handle fluids the way they once did. Our bladders become more sensitive, and the ability to hold urine during the night decreases. It's not something we like to talk about, but it's part of the natural process of aging, and it affects our quality of life. I realized that what I thought was a harmless bedtime habit, drinking that comforting cup of tea, was sabotaging my ability to rest. So, I made a simple change. Now, I still enjoy my tea, but I make sure to drink it earlier in the evening, around 7 p.m. After that, I'm more mindful about hydration. If I'm thirsty, I sip slowly, just a little, rather than guzzling down a whole glass. It was such a small adjustment, but it made a world of difference. Now, I sleep through the night, no more waking up in a panic, no more embarrassment, just deep, uninterrupted rest. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 2 below to let me know that you are still here with me. It wasn't about giving up the things I love, it was about finding balance and knowing when to hydrate, not just how much. Timing matters. It's these little adjustments, made with care, that can have a profound impact on how we feel each day. And sometimes, it's those small, thoughtful changes that help us reclaim our comfort and dignity. 8. Avoiding the doctor out of embarrassment. Let's talk about something that far too many of us are too embarrassed to discuss. It's a feeling that quietly consumes us, something so many women experience but never speak about: embarrassment. I remember when it first started happening to me, those little leaks that no one prepares you for. I felt this overwhelming sense of shame, like my body was betraying me, like I was somehow doing something wrong. It wasn't just about the physical leaks, it was the emotional burden that came with it. I didn't want to talk about it with anyone, not my daughters, not my friends, and certainly not my doctor. The silence I kept wasn't just about protecting myself from judgment. It was about avoiding what I feared could be an uncomfortable conversation. But here's the hard truth I've learned along the way. Embarrassment is the real enemy. It's the fear of vulnerability, the worry about being judged, that keeps us from finding real solutions. And in avoiding that conversation, we inadvertently prevent ourselves from getting the help we need. I wish I had spoken up sooner. I've come to understand that when it comes to health, especially as we grow older, our bodies change, and it's nothing to be ashamed of. Doctors today are more equipped than ever to support older women with these very issues. They no longer see it as a trivial concern. They get it. It's not just about holding it anymore. It's about understanding the bigger picture. Hormones, nerve function, medications, hydration, muscle tone, and a whole lot more. In many cases, doctors can pinpoint the exact cause and offer real solutions that can improve or even reverse the issue. Take my friend, for example. For years, she suffered in silence, too embarrassed to talk to her doctor about her leaks. It wasn't until much later that she finally opened up. To her surprise, her doctor found that her blood pressure medication was the culprit. The side effects were triggering the leaks. They adjusted her dosage, and just like that, her nightly bathroom trips dropped in half. She couldn't believe how simple the fix was once she spoke up. "I look back and wish I'd been brave enough to ask for help earlier." We shouldn't have to suffer in silence, especially when answers are waiting for us. Our health is far too precious to let embarrassment rob us of the care we deserve. I hope this video has helped you see that you're not alone in dealing with these issues and that it's never too late to seek help. We often let embarrassment hold us back, but once we push past that barrier, incredible things can happen. So, what have you learned today? What's one thing you'll take with you and practice in your own life moving forward? I'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment below and share what stood out to you most. If you found this video helpful, please leave your comment below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Together, we can keep learning, growing, and supporting each other every step of the way. Thank you for watching.